It's a big noise universe of stocks out there. Welcome to Goodbye or Goodbye. Our goal here to help cut through that noise to navigate the best moves for your portfolio. And today we're looking at the GLP-1 weight loss drug landscape. Eli Lilly heating up the competition with slashing Zepbound prices for self-pay patients. So what's the best way to play it? Now I'm here with Roundhill Investments Chief Executive Officer Dave Mazza. Dave, good to see you as always.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's start with your first buy here, and it is Eli Lilly. Your timing is perfect, Dave. They were making news today. Let's run through these bullets of why you say this one is still a buy. The first one, head start in the GLP-1 weight loss drug space.
Yeah, so GLP-1 weight loss drugs weren't on anyone's radar until recently, and same as generative AI and AI, Lilly is the NVIDIA of the GLP-1 and weight loss space.
Isn't it amazing? We used to say things with the Uber of something. Now you say the NVIDIA.
Exactly. So it's become a term on and of itself, but there's a reason for that. They've been working on these drugs for decades. Novo Nordisk has as well, but because of that and because there's such a shortage of them and there's insatiable demand because of the obesity problem, their leadership, their head start, they have drugs in market is why they're seeing such strong earnings growth for these drugs and for their really entire platform.
Okay, so first bullet point is the head start. Let's go to that optimistic sales outlook.
Yeah, so they just released earnings, and you saw some of these numbers, and we're seeing various drugs, Wegovy, Zepbound, grow at over 100%, 200% in some cases, and at the same time, the company is actually increasing their forecast, right? So not just beating and raising, but blowing away the numbers. And also even today, they've come out and said, as you've put in the intro, that they're now gonna offer on their direct-to-consumer website a version that's basically half off. Now the difference there is that's an injectable in a traditional way versus these pens, but still if you've been waiting around or if you don't have insurance to pay for it, this is a great way to get those drugs that you were looking for.
So you like that move strategically and financially for them?
Well, over time, these prices are gonna come down. We all hear about these $1,000 prices, right? Outside of the US, people don't pay those prices. But if you don't have insurance, this is a way to make it much more attractive. So I think what they're trying to do is basically make their total addressable market come to them quicker.
Final point here, final bullish point, Dave. Its place as leadership stock, you see it intact right now.
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at the technicals of this stock, certainly had a really strong, robust run up, fell in that July and August period where a lot of and kind of got thrown into that AI sell-off because it was such a momentum leader, but it actually has maintained its attractive technical profile, and that to me is, even though this is a nearly $1 trillion company, like some of the other AI mega cap tech leaders, it still has that bullish case intact.
And before folks now pile in, you laid out the bullish case, but what are the downside risks, in your opinion, viewers need to think about before they commit capital here?
Look, anytime a company that's up over 70% year to date, and even stronger
over the long run. Remarkable run.
Right, exactly. So you got to be careful, right? So I think it is worth kind of checking yourself before you just dive right in, right? And so one of them would be, do these sales growths actually forecasts end up disappointing? We don't believe that to be the case. To date, they've been delivering, but certainly some negative news or negative headlines could come out and change that, because anytime you see a stock trade really at such high multiples, it doesn't take a lot for it to have a sell-off.
Do you think, Dave, after that kind of run, valuation, how do you think about that dynamic?
Well, it's interesting. They keep growing into their valuation because they keep growing their top line. And so certainly if you were to just screen it on a price to earnings multiple compared to other healthcare stocks, it would look very expensive. But those healthcare stocks are not growing anywhere near the pace that Lilly is.
All right, so you like Eli Lilly. Let's turn what you're not such a fan of here. We're a little bit more skeptical. That'll be hims and hers. Let's run through those bullets too, Dave. So the first reason, deterioration on absolute and relative basis. So
the last bullet point on Lilly was its technical case was remaining favorable. In this case, HIMSS, if you had that chart up a moment ago, a huge run up 150% in 4 months. But now it's been slowly deteriorating. I think this is a name that kind of got caught up into a little bit of a retail craze because it was, it's kind of an exciting name, right? It's digital healthcare and things of that nature. But basically since then, it's all the stock's done is really sell off. And today is really is a prime example of that.
Let's go bullet point number 2. Another reason you'd stand on the sidelines with is concerns with its GLP-1 offerings.
Yeah, so first and foremost, what they're selling is not technically GLP-1 drugs. They're what's called compounding drugs. They're made through compounding pharmacies. So a company goes up and makes treatments and therapeutics that look and feel a lot like the actual medicines. And many people say they're safe. they are doing so in FDA-approved facilities, but they're not FDA-approved drugs. And there's been some short sellers who've been some pretty good research on this, basically saying that actually the place that's making them has a little bit of a shady past. So that would give me that gives me some concern about their entry into the space.
And a final reason for skepticism, in your opinion, Dave, potential supply boost to GLP-1 drugs.
Look, so Hims and Hers got into the space because there's so much demand that Lilly and Novo and others can't meet the supply, right? And that's one reason why the stock has gone up so much. Hims got into the space and said, we're going to do this on the cheap, significantly less expensive. But guess what? The supply chain is quickly improving. Lilly and Novo, particularly Lilly, is investing in factories in North Carolina, their home state of Indiana. And those are going to come online sooner than later, and basically making it so that someone doesn't need a copycat drug to get the actual real drug that they want.
Final point here on this one as well. Let's talk about maybe some of the upside risks viewers have to consider.
Look, they reported earnings earlier in August, and their core business actually was okay. Their core business is subscription services, and that was growing, and it beat expectations. Still pretty small. So again, if they can kind of grow out of this and find their way forward as a pharmaceutical company, then that would be a risk. We don't necessarily see that coming to fruition, but that is the risk to the upside.
It is interesting. We've had bulls on this stock come on, and just in broad strokes, I think strategically, what they kind of pound the table on is they say, listen, it's great value for customers. That's a bull. You hear them make that. You don't have to physically go to the doctor's office. You don't have to go to the pharmacy to pick up the prescriptions. What do you say to that?
No, 100%. This is actually, I think, a loved and hated stock. If you go on social media, there's a huge following of folks who believe in the space because of those points. I think ultimately, look at Eli Lilly today. They came out, and Pfizer actually has done the same thing. They're going to have a direct-to-consumer platform. So just like many spaces have seen, financial services is a good one. You see these upstarts and digital wealth platforms. Well, the big boys figure it out pretty quickly, and we're starting to see that with Lilly.
All right, Dave. So bottom line, you like Eli Lilly, you'd steer clear of Hims and Hers here.
That's correct.
Thank you, Dave, so much for your time and those picks. I appreciate it. And thank you for watching Goodbye or Goodbye. We're going to be bringing you new episodes at 3:30 p.m. Eastern.